we say right now, just so y'all know. Um, yeah, basically what it is it's there's the valley in between robotic and realistic, and what that discussion is they always give the example of the first Toy Story movie. Um, the fact that Andy in that movie didn't look real, he didn't come across as a real human being. They tried to make him look way too real. And so later on, what Pixar did was they gave their characters augmented, and they do this with robotics too. They gave them augmented
It's mainly the
designs.
eyes.
So mainly the eyes. They give them anime eyes now, and they just make everything a little bit bigger, so that it looks unrealistic. Because what they found out is by doing the Uncanny Valley research is that people just didn't buy into it, and it gives them a feeling of disgust. So like when you look at that mannequin in the background, if it was more human looking, there's a good chance that you would be disgusted by it because it's trying to, for whatever reason, psychologically replicate what a human is, and we view that as danger. We view it as something that's almost like going to hurt us, and so on a subconscious level, we know it's not real. You know, in the movie AI, in the documentary, the movie's not great. I like the movie AI. I'm a fan. But the documentaries, the behind the scenes making of, are even better. And Steven Spielberg brings up the point. He goes, if you had a toothbrush and you use it every day, when you go to throw it away, it's just a toothbrush. He goes, but if you had a toothbrush that said good morning to you every day, had a face, you had communication with it, he goes, at the end of the day, when that toothbrush was used, it's going to be a lot harder to throw away. And that's the way people are going to view robotics. It's going to be very difficult. So we know it's technology, but we also know that there's that thin line of we could get attached to it, especially when you look at how our symbiotic relationships are with our telephones. You know, uh, we don't worry about it so much when you get a new phone, but there's no denying that this is causing some psychological damage to us as a people. And so the uncanny valley, I went on a little tangent there, is kind of the it's
Well, so
kind of like the in
basically,
between.
they call it the uncanny valley because it's a bell curve if you graph it, and basically it's things that don't look like human
Mm-hmm.
we are more believable to us, and things that are an exact copy of us are still believable to us. But there's this one little area where the unbelievable, where it's just a little shy of unbelievable, but it still looks really close to us. That freaks us out. So like a lot of people use the movie. What's the Tom Hanks train movie?
Oh
With
yeah, the Christmas movie. Yeah,
The
Christmas
Polar
movie.
Express. By the
Polar
way,
Express.
send her text of gifts from that movie because she can't stand that movie, and that's like one
Yeah,
of my favorite things to do now is to send her
it
gifts.
like freaks people out because it's really really human looking, but it's also like that is not that there's something disturbing there.
I
Right.
was thinking about that first Final Fantasy movie, The Spirits
You're
Within.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After that movie came out, there was a lot of talk about people thinking that they could actually take those characters and throw them into a real live action movie, and no one would be able to tell. They
Uh,
were that cocky. They were that
They
cocky.
they
in
were pretty
2001.
arrogant. Well, the main character was like a Maxim cover model or something like that, if I recall.
Well,
But
what they did is the makers of the female character who you're talking about, right?
mhm.
They asked like the fans of Final Fantasy who was your like all-time favorite like female actress, and they got all these different things, but the one actress they really chose to go with was Jane Fonda's daughter. Or, is it Jane Fonda's daughter? Bridget Fonda. So if you
Ooh.
look at her, she has a Bridget Fonda vibe to it.
I think it's interesting because that
She's not her daughter. She's the daughter of Peter Fonda.
That's right. I'm sorry.
um well, let's get started with the cast, guys. So, hey, everybody, welcome
Oh yeah.
to Camp Slash
Sorry.
Horrorcast, where we talk horror movies from the past every Monday at 8 p.m. This is Duck. I am here today with David Jessup. David, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, man.
Excellent, excellent. I also have Mr. Jay McClintock. Jay, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing, everybody?
I'm doing good, doing good. And finally, we have Austin McDonald. Austin, how are you, sir?
I'm good, Doug. Good to be here.
Good, good. I'm a little bit under the weather, so this will be a little bit more of a mellow cast. There's only going to be the four of us. We had a lot of people who have been feeling this weather, I think, and just tired. And Ethan had to dip out because he's got finals coming up. So we're just going to have a nice little casual conversation about this crazy, crazy movie. I don't know how else to put it. This movie is absolutely insane. But I did question for a minute if everyone dropped out because it is a foreign film and it does have subtitles. Now, I don't think that affects any of the people in our group, but I couldn't help but to laugh because when I chose this movie, I was like, I hope people don't drop out of the cast because of that. And so it's ironic. But I do want to talk about foreign films, because this is the first time we've watched one on the cast, and we will watch more in the future. But the relationship with foreign films can be a little bit divisive for people across the board. And I do want to talk about that because, like, when I was a kid, my father refused to watch foreign films, and simply because he had to read. And he would always say, if I have to read why am I watching a movie if I have to fucking read it? And I always thought that was funny. For me, it was the opposite. He also hated Letterboxd with a passion. He just could not understand why movies were letterboxed, and it just drove him nuts. So for me, I love foreign films, and I told you guys earlier, my favorite foreign film of all time has to be either Pan's Labyrinth, which I was lucky enough to see in theaters. What an experience. And it was really cool because we went to theaters to see it, and then like all the metalheads we would hang out with on the punk rock scene went to see it too. It was kind of cool. We didn't sync that up either. It was just by chance. Everyone who was cool wanted to see Pan's Labyrinth. And then Spirited Away. I think Spirited Away is such a fever dream trippy fucking movie. I absolutely love it. Now, subs or dubs on that one, you can definitely do dubs. That's not a problem. Disney actually came in with John Lasseter back in the day, Pixar guy, and did the dub of that. But I'm a fan. Like I was telling you guys earlier, Sympathy for Lady Vengeance, which is the spiritual sequel to Old Boy, is also unbelievably good. But you guys were saying that you had some love for foreign films too. So Jay, what movie did you say earlier was your foreign film that you absolutely love?
Well, that wasn't the one I absolutely loved. My favorite foreign film of all time is Love Me If You Dare. It's considered by many to be like one of the greatest comedies and romances ever seen. It's a French movie. It's literally a movie where these two kids, they started as kids, obviously, and it's kind of deranged. I guess you could almost call it a horror movie because the whole movie, each one, they have this carousel, and they hand it to one another, and it's literally like an entire game of truth or dare, but no truth, really. It's just dares, and the things they make each other do are just absolutely insane. But they also find out that by doing all this, they feel more alive than ever, and of course they're madly in love. It's actually a tragedy, but that's probably my number one favorite foreign film of all time.
Real quick, we all have to nerd real quick, just so you know. So if you have an inhaler, which you guys don't, use it. I will use mine happily. Hopefully you can see
Did Hobby redeem that?
Nope, that would be Mr. Ethan Eastwood did it. He said, "Nerd it up, fuckers."
What's up, Ethan?
So that movie you said is a French film. That's a relatively new film, is that right? In the last 5 years?
Yeah, like mid 2000s.
Mid 2000s, dude. I want to check that out. Like definitely.
Oh, it's great. You'll love it.
How about you, Austin? Are you a fan of foreign films or no?
Yeah, I like foreign films. They're not like a go-to for me, but I definitely everything you named I have a great relationship with. Pan's Labyrinth is maybe one of my favorite foreign films of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Spirited Away was my first like anime type movie I had ever seen. I saw it on a date, and it was a really good date. It was a good experience, and I had fun. I liked the movie. Parasite last year, or was it the year before?
Oh,
Does
yeah.
2020 not count? I don't know. I loved Parasite. Parasite might be my favorite.
Good.
Pan's Labyrinth and Parasite are like up there for me.
Yeah.
But I also like, when you say foreign film, do you mean like foreign language film, or because there's like Taika Waititi stuff I wouldn't consider a foreign film, but I mean it's out of New Zealand.
Yeah.
He makes great stuff. So like,
I think that counts. I think that I think that what's great about the Oscars, they've always considered something that's it has to be a subtitle to be foreign film. But you're right. Like what is it? What We Do in the Dark is an amazing fucking comedy film.
What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah.
What We Do in the Shadows. Thank you. Is an amazing.
Hunt for the Wilder
comedy.
People was amazing.
Like I said earlier, Mary and Max, which is a stop-motion animated film, which if you haven't seen, you've got to check out. Like, I can't express to you how much that movie hits you in the feels and is just downright funny with its dry Australian sense of humor. Like, it's just unbelievably good. But yeah, I mean, yeah, either or. Like, there's plenty of films from across the world that are absolutely amazing. And, I'm going to include this one in it. I think this is really good. But we'll get to that in a second because I want to ask David. How about you, David? What is your relationship with foreign films?
I always mention that I used to work at a video store in the 90s. And so we were always required to watch pretty much everything that came in. So I had to watch a lot of foreign films. And at first I was like your dad. Like, I don't want to read this.
Yeah.
But man, there's so much great stuff out there. One of my favorites is The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover, which is a really, really fucked up movie. Really, really good. That came out in the 80s. And then my most recent favorite one, besides Parasite, which is great, is Let the Right One In, which is, I think it's a Swedish vampire movie, if I'm correct. Not the
believe
American
so.
version, but Let the Right One In is really, 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 really good. Like, yeah, I love foreign films. I like them also because they're so un-American. I think sometimes American movies can get kind of cookie cutter,
Hmm.
and it's great watching a foreign film and seeing how the story structure is so different than what we do in America, and so it's refreshing.
And the other thing is too is we've moved in a lot of ways, and this is going to change soon. But to the box office, they expect Americans to make the big films, and that's going to change, especially with the theaters kind of being down. I think we're going to go back to a lot more of a lower key, lower, cost for
budgeted.
filmmaking, stuff like that. Yeah, I think we're going to see a big change in filmmaking, and I think some of the independents are going to get to shine, especially soon. That's why we need to get on making a movie. That's what I'm saying. So, David, you have seen this one before, correct? You were
Yes.
super excited about us to see this, and specifically spoilers. The end of the movie. You wanted to kind of know what we would think of that, I believe, right?
Yeah, because I love this movie, and then towards the end I kind of not like it, but then I end up loving it again. And I have a fan theory, a super geeky fan theory about this movie. So when we get to the end, I want to tell you guys what my theory is. But yeah, last year it was one of those weird, like, you see those advertisements on Facebook or wherever that say, top 10 horror movies you've never seen before, or top 10 Christmas movies you've never seen before. And this popped up, and I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes because I'm a Rotten Tomato nerd. I've got if it's below 70%, don't watch it.
Yeah.
And this has got like a 90% on it. And so I watched it and thought it was so cool and so impressive too, man. $2 million budget. And the movie looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
And also big, you can tell they're a big John Carpenter, The Thing fan too. That you could tell there's some scenes in there that are almost completely ripped. I wouldn't say they're ripping off The Thing, but you can tell they're a fan of The Thing, the feeling, the vibe, and the look of it.
Yeah.
I was curious of the budget of this film, so I'm glad you brought that up because I feel like there were some times I definitely noticed some CGI in this film, and I actually thought it was pretty good CGI. I mean, I noticed it was CGI, but I was like, that's actually pretty impressive what they're doing right there.
Yeah, and for 2010 CGI.
Exactly, on a $2 million budget.
The $2 million budget. Yeah, and Ducky, you posted the short films that was made before this movie that got the movie made. And the short films, if you guys haven't watched them, I highly recommend you do. They're really, really cool. But basically, one came out in 2003 before YouTube was even around, and so they weren't able to get all that buzz. But the second one, which is like a sequel to it, 2005, which is it kind of gives the warnings of what to do with the Santa Claus. That was hugely successful.
Yeah.
And so they took that and some artwork of what they were planning on doing, and they were able to make the movie.
Yeah, it was great because it's kind of almost like Sam Raimi, where they ended up making the short film version of, The Evil Dead or whatever the original one was called, and then he went out to the different investors. You could see the progression. I hadn't watched the short films. I think possibly I saw one of the short films in the early days of the internet. I think I did. But I watched it with fresh eyes after watching the movie, and it's a lot of fun, especially the second one. The second one's a lot of fun. But if you don't know what the twist is, which we haven't given away yet here if you're listening to this before, go watch the movie because we are going to talk about it soon. But once you know what the twist is, that first short film, it really works. And I kind of remember seeing that before and thinking like that was hysterical. And then the second one, they do a lot of the stuff that they build into the lore of this. It works. But what's great about the movie, before we talk about it, does anyone else see it before today? Is this is y'all's first time seeing it, right? Okay, just making sure. What's great about the movie is it does not tongue-in-cheek this shit at all. At the opening, he kind of, like, whenever the guy is saying, like, hey, here are the rules, you would think that's a very tongue-in-cheek moment. But the way it's played is very, very serious. And so at first, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Luckily, I did not know how this movie ended either. So I was pleasantly surprised by it. And I think Jay said earlier he was too. But this movie is very, I don't know. It's like,
see, I gotta disagree, Doug. I think it is a serious movie, but I think it's one of those rare movies where it's like kind of a horror thriller disguising itself as kind of a tongue-in-cheek comedy, to where you think it's funnier than it actually is. You know what I mean?
I think for me, I took it more seriously. I didn't take it as tongue in cheek at all until that last scene, that last segment where I was like, oh, now I can rewatch this. But like leading up to it, the father, his intensity towards the son, and that's actual father and son in real life.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
that's actually his kid. And the guy who plays the father and the guy who plays the trapper who looks like Mike, and he does look like Mike Higginbotham, hardcore.
Yeah, he does.
Like the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, it's fucking Mike right there. They were actually in the original shorts. The guy who plays the pilot, and that's what I call him because it's what he ends up being at the end.
Panirin?
The Panirin. What's a Panirin?
No, his name's like Pippaniri.
Oh yeah, the names he was saying Peter. And I saw
Pippi
I heard it was
Longstocking,
Peter.
I think it was.
Terry.
Like I had no idea, dude. I think isn't Finnish one of the hardest languages to understand in like the world? And like the whole time I'm watching, I'm just like I don't
Best.
know.
I know Finland's known for having like the best drivers in the world. I learned
Wait,
that from
what?
Top Gear. Yeah, Top Gear. They say, yeah, if you want to win, get a Finn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you wanna be a driver, if you want to get your driver's license in Finland, I'm told like the course you got to take could pretty much make you a stunt driver in America.
No
and I'm not even
way.
joking.
That's cool.
They must be the best because that guy picked up a helicopter like that.
Yeah,
He-
like that.
God.
You're right. He did. He was just like I can drive.
I got
this
it.
is no problem.
I got it.
But yeah, the father was very intense, and I bought into. I didn't buy that as like he was at first like he was regretting the loss of the mother or whatever happened to her. I just figured he was an asshole. But then through the movie, the tone kind of switches gradually, and it's just enough. And then when you realize it's a 90-minute movie to allow you to understand why the short film existed, and it's the weirdest premise at the end, I was shocked by how well it was done. Austin, what did you think?
So kind of like David said, I disliked this movie and I liked this movie. I actually disliked this movie as a horror movie. I wasn't really entertained on the horror stuff of it. I thought it was just kind of, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird and didn't really strike a chord with me. But by the end of the movie, it was very tongue-in-cheek for me, and I thought it was really funny. And I thought, by the end of the movie, I liked it, but I liked it as a comedy. And I saw it more as a comedy than a horror movie. But I mean, I think, we've talked about that before, horror and comedy go really, really well together. So as that genre, I think it did a really good job.
I wonder why they mesh so well together. Maybe because when you're afraid of something, like you get scared usually, like somebody jump scares, you go, ah! And then you start laughing because you realize
a joke and horror are both surprises. It's both kind of hitting the same nerve in your brain. So
you're right. I never even thought about that. How about you, Jay? How about the film as a whole? You were saying that you did enjoy it or you didn't enjoy it?
Oh, I loved it. I was a super awesome, pleasant surprise. It was a really, really cool. Like, David, you mentioned that you saw a lot of John Carpenter in this. I would have to say I saw Mort Raimi. Definitely saw Mort Raimi in it. And towards the end, I saw a lot of Spielberg in it. This had a lot of Spielberg going on towards the end. We can discuss that later, but I saw Carpenter too, but that's why I thought it was like a comedy. I thought it did like what Evil Dead did in reverse, like that exact thing where the first one's kind of like more serious and then it becomes funnier. And this one, like I said, I thought it started out funny and then it became more serious. The fact that this kid is such a badass is funny to me. Like badass kids in general are just, to me, they're just funny premises. Where you've got a kid who's just got this real world. He's got like this real worldly view. And so like, and it doesn't come off as corny, which is a delicate thing. Precociousness in general, I think, is one of those things that kind of can come off as annoying. I would use Greta Thunberg as kind of like an example of where people think that someone is, they're very smart for their age, but on the other side, a lot of people think she's a little preachy. That just depends on where you view it on the spectrum. And I think this movie does a real good job of like having it without it really coming across as annoying at all. And I thought that was really cool.
And I agree with you. The kid is killer in this, and he has the arc over this, where he goes from being afraid and being terrified and saying things like "Is Santa dead?" and just being a child to it's a coming of age story where he actually becomes more adult than the adults at a certain point. And these are strong men. Like, these are, like, men that terrify me. Like, they are, like, men, you know what I mean? And then for this kid to step up and be like, I know what the fuck to do, let's go, I thought that was really cool. David, you were saying that you kind of like this movie, you kind of hate this movie.
Well,
What's
so I'll give you my fan theory on it.
Okay.
This is just and this is how if I think of it this way, I really enjoy it. So I love the first part of it because it is very creepy and it has the John Carpenter The Thing vibe to it for me. But the moment that I lose it is when the kid drops his teddy bear and goes inside the room and then becomes a hero. My theory is, and this is just for my brain, is that that's just him in his head, that he actually gets killed. The giant Santa Claus comes out, which, by the way, I'm super pissed we don't ever fucking see. We get to see his horns, but I was really bummed that they never melted that giant ice box because I was like, I want to see a 50-foot Santa Claus.
Hell yeah. That would have been awesome.
Then it's a $5 million movie.
Yeah. If you look at like how like he looks in like the book or the drawing book or whatever, I don't even know where this kid got all these fucking books from, but he had a library in the house evidently. I was like, hell yeah, with the antler face or whatever was going on. I was like, that looks so freaking cool.
And then they blew him up, and I was like, damn it. So in my mind, it's all in the kid's head that everyone gets killed. Santa Claus kills everyone. The end. Because it does get really fancy. Really goes into a fantasy world where he's on the helicopter. The guy learns how to fly a helicopter in a minute, and it just gets really kind of like fantasy type of thing. And so that's where in my head I'm like, they're all dead. So that's where I went.
The movie is about Santa Claus, so I kind of think the whole thing's a fantasy.
No, it's not, Jay. It's about evil Santa Claus.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. That's real.
It's so real.
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah. Whoa, oh shit! No one told Austin.
Spoiler.
Nothing.
I gotta make a phone call.
I think we're just making the third movie to Unfriended right now.
There it is. Oh shit, dude! And then Santa shows up. It's Christmas themed. That'd be crazy. All right, let's get into the movie. Yeah, definitely. We talked about it a little bit in here, but like the setup kind of works. I think the fact that the Americans are the villains, that's crazy hilarious to me. And it also shows like I was shocked by how poor the family came across as. Were you guys shocked by that too? Did you feel the same way, or did you feel like that was just...
do they not have inside plumbing? The kid goes to take a piss and he goes outside.
Yeah, no, like they didn't do that. They didn't have electricity either, I don't think. So I was like, I don't know Finland, so I'm like, is this what all Finland is like, or are they just really, really poor?
I think this is like a really rural part. That's what I would guess. That was the impression I got.
Well, it's like pretty close to the Arctic Circle, I would say. I mean, they literally call it the when he says, "How are you liking the land of the North?" It's
the Northern Lights.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is, I guess this is a mess up in the movie. I guess at this time of year that it's set, there is no nighttime. It's only daytime. But for the film, they decided to do nighttime scenes for it. But yeah, I was shocked by that. And then whenever, like they had the scene where like they open up, the guys are talking and they're like, "What did you hit?" And he's sawdust. And I was like, "What the fuck does sawdust mean?" And I was like, none of that made sense until I watched it again. And then I was like, oh, because of the lore, it's building constantly the lore of it. And I guess the ancient Finnish would put ice and they would cover it in sawdust. So
I guess it was like an insulation. Is basically what he was saying. Hey, we hit this insulation layer, and we're about to find something big.
Right, and then when it goes into kind of the like, he pulls out the new rules. I thought that was hysterical because I'm like, this is kind of ridiculous. But the movie brought it back instantly by becoming serious again. And, like, making you kind of question, like, maybe this rich guy's a little bit insane or cuckoo in the head. Of course, it's not going to go that way because it's a Christmas horror movie. But I thought that build-up was really good. And having the kids, because that's what kids do. I don't know, you guys when you were kids, but we explored shit all the time. We would always get slightly into the danger zone of things. I remember going to church camp, and they really did gaslight us on this. It was great. But they acted like there was a Native American tribe. I guess this is kind of insensitive, but oh well, I'm going to tell the story. They acted like there was a Native American tribe in the woods, and we went down there, and they let the kids, like, peek in on them real quick and then go back. But it's that danger zone. It's that, like, how close can you get to danger? And when you're a child, you're a little bit more inclined to do so, especially with lawn darts. You guys remember that shit? You used to throw it in the air and they come down? You guys had lawn darts, right? Surely. I was going to say. But yeah, these kids, they screwed up, though. They cut the wires in the fence, and that ends up leading to the big tragedy of, all the reindeer being killed. and the fathers. What did you guys think of the families and the interactions? I thought they were pretty good, and they were pretty. They built kind of like the intensity of this movie. What did you think?
Everything felt authentic, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, for coming from somebody who's never been to Finland, you know.
Yeah. That's definitely a Finnish film.
Yeah. But everything just felt really authentic. I think it was really good about that scene, and that to me was like a battery dropping scene when the camera pans up and you see all the dead reindeer, and you're like, fuck, it's you get like this sense of foreboding, you know, like shit's going down. Yes, sir.
They did that one shot that Spielberg did in Jaws, and I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's basically where you move the camera in while also zooming out,
yes.
And it creates that cool zoom effect while the face stays centered. Yeah, I love that shot. That was great.
Yeah. And so, but you get a sense of how poor the family is, and when the dad starts doing the math about how much money they've lost, you know, you could see he's like, "Fuck, we're gonna be starving for the winter." And then they have the scene where all they're eating is little, you know, what are they called? Little
gingerbread,
Crispies. Gingerbread thing. And the dad burns the turkey or whatever, and you just get this sense of like a father who is just trying so hard to provide for his son.
Yeah, and I never even thought about that because he was stressed out before that. That's probably why he was, because they kind of built that up with being like, you know, he's not used to being a single father. I'm guessing the loss of the mother is a relatively new thing, and it's something that they don't discuss between them. And then he's not very nice to his son. And so to see that kind of change throughout the story, to see him going from not being nice to having the arc of being like at the end where he's holding him and holding his hand, and like they found a loving relationship finally by the end of it, I think that's pretty wonderful. But you can feel the coldness. And when I was looking at them, I was like, are these two related? Because I saw a resemblance. So I immediately went to the internet after the movie, like we all do. And I was like, holy shit, they are. Like, that makes sense. But, like, he's a killer actor. Like, the guy playing the father and the son, they are both really, really, really good in this movie. Good, Jay, what were you thinking? Oh, I thought you were...
No, I was just going along. I definitely agree.
Yeah,
good acting.
They're definitely killer in this movie. But it's really sad, and like whenever the reindeer are all dead, and you could see the look on his face of like, we're screwed. We are really screwed. I don't know what to do. I thought that was really, really cool. And then
also, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say also there's a weird sense that this kid once had a dog and the dog died.
Yeah.
And so now he has this toy that he drags along with him and is acting like it's his dog.
I couldn't figure out for the life of me what that was. So thank you. Like the whole time I kept thinking, like, I thought maybe it was just a childish thing, because at the end when he goes to the table or the door 25 and he goes to open it, he puts away childish things and he moves on and he becomes an adult. And it's very much, like I said, a coming of age story. But I kept thinking that was cool. And there's one particular scene where he's holding the keys and the doll, and it unravels to the ground. I thought that was badass. And there's a lot of things cinematically that the director does that I absolutely love. And I kept thinking, like, why hasn't this guy done bigger stuff? Why haven't they given him American films? Because he has proven with this film he can make a coherent, good film. But he's only worked on a couple other things. The movie he made after this was called Big Game, and he used a lot of the same actors, especially the boy from this movie who played Peter. He used him in that movie too, and that movie's got Samuel L. Jackson in it. So that was the biggest movie he ever did. But yeah,
he literally is in everything, isn't he?
Yeah, he literally is. You were right. He literally is in everything. But I've heard Big Game's just as good as this. So Narwhal 365 said, Duck, I remember what you did that summer. I don't remember what I did 10 minutes ago, so I don't know what we're talking about. So yeah, the Santa Claus stuff, when it comes in slowly, I did not know what to expect at all. I did not see the twist that was coming our way, but I did like it. So they have the scene where Brian Green, who refuses to follow the instructions of the millionaire guy, he starts cursing and swearing, and then they all get killed. I thought that was handled very well in a very nice cinematic way. And then later, or earlier in the movie, the father is building a pit for the wolves, and one of the people fall into it, and I did not know what the heck was going on. Did you guys have any idea what was going on at that time, or just slowly through the movie?
I thought it was Santa. when I first watched it, I was like, oh shit, this is Santa.
Right.
Which I think that's what they were trying to sell you on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They did such a great job of
red herring. It was a red herring. Definitely a red herring.
It was totally red herring.
And that was a good red herring. It was.
Yeah.
I bought into it hook, line, and sinker. So
and
whenever
the guy had a very nice penis too. It was very nice.
I was gonna say this movie is all about the penises. Like there's a lot of dick. There's a lot of old man dick in this movie.
Everywhere.
Yeah, but I think like in America, like you could not make this movie.
Why? Because of all the dick?
This movie would get Me Too'd, cancel cultured, like in production. You could not make this movie in America. You absolutely couldn't.
Because of the old man dick? I mean,
yeah. Well, there's also, I mean, there's definitely a pedophile vibe going on with that whole thing. Mm-hmm. Did you not catch that?
I did not catch that. Please go down the line.
Dude, when the elf, his eyes light up when he smells the boy. Did you see that?
Oh my god! Yeah, fuck yeah.
Well, for a minute, I thought, okay, because Christmas is, obviously it's a Christian holiday. I was thinking for a little bit this was a commentary on the Catholic Church. That was kind of the imagery I was getting.
Explain, please.
I don't think it is the point of the movie, but I think there's definitely some imagery in there, and just basically on what I just said. The Catholic Church has a very bad history. I don't want to go into what that history is.
I mean,
but there is that history.
It's whatever. It is what it is. I'll say it. I don't care. But I don't know what happened.
I don't know if the movie is I don't think it's taking a humorous approach to it, but it's definitely like using. Because I think this movie is a comedy, and I think it works well as a comedy, and I think this is kind of a jab at the Catholic Church. It very much in the background, not like I said, not the point of the movie, just kind of an Easter egg, or I don't know what you.
Well, I mean, you have the elves kidnapping children, and they're all put out for Santa Claus to eat. They're all out there, and that scene is so creepy.
Devour.
Yeah, to devour. When they're in the you see the bags moving around. It's so another great battery dropping moment is when the camera pans up and you see all the potatoes that are just in there, and you're like, "What the?"
That was the moment. I feel like that was the moment, 100%.
Also, the creepy ass kid doll.
Yes. That was so cool.
Yes.
And I was wondering if anyone knew what the lore was. I meant to look it up, but I think that's part of it. Is that in the Finnish lore, he would replace the child with a dummy child, so that they could take the children. Like that is part of the storyline of that. And I think this kind of the Santa Claus plays into the Krampus idea, and I think they separated them a little bit. But yeah, that's what it was. Is you had to offer almost like as penance for taking the child, you had to offer a child to replace it. It basically is what it was. So yeah, it's absolutely downright creepy. But like I said, because the movie becomes tongue-in-cheek at a certain point, it's not as creepy at the end. And like no one really dies, maybe one or two people. All the Americans, keep in mind, which I thought was great once again. But yeah, it's the movie goes from being this creepy thing, and then, like you said, when the potato sacks were robbed, and they only took the sacks, I laughed out loud. I was like, that's fucking clever. But I did not see. Sorry, go ahead, Austin.
No, I didn't notice that. That's where the sacks came from. I didn't make that connection.
Really?
Yeah. He's like,
I might have gotten up to get a drink during the potato part because I remember seeing the potatoes, but I didn't really understand what that reference was.
Right, they took all the sacks so that they could steal the children, and then what was really fun about that was like showing like that's how they introduced like throughout the town is starting little weird things happening, like the radiators being stolen, the guy's wife's hair dryer being stolen, things like that, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then the kid figuring out the mystery, he's going through it. He figured it out right off the bat, but they didn't believe him, of course. And then the father, whenever he finds the body, quote unquote, in the wolf pit, and then them setting up to be like, well, we can't go to the authorities. This wolf pit is illegal. I thought that was really cool. So let's
talk about the kidnapping part of it. Like these guys, this is where it also I thought it was getting a little funny. It's kind of turned into a kidnapping story. They wanted to use the Santa as ransom.
Ransom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
which I thought was like a simple plan kind of thing. It reminded me of that, which is another movie. Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah. What a great one too.
And I was just like, oh my god, this is awesome. How much do you want? 85,000. At least $1 million.
Yeah. Well, these guys
was really funny.
They become bumbling idiots at a certain point. Like I said, they go from being like these strong masculine characters to you realizing like they don't know what the fuck's going on either. And then it becomes the Three Stooges. And literally, when you look at the poster, it shows them in the background as the trio. Because in the short films, that's what it was. It was a hunter, a trapper, and something else. I can't remember. But it kind of plays into that. But I do want to mention, like, when they have the body, the Brian Green, was the body, the person who became the Santa, was that the same guy who was at the site who was the American, or was it someone?
Yes, he was the guy speaking English at the beginning.
It was? Okay, mm-hmm. I couldn't tell if it was or not. That was the one thing that was confusing me. But yeah, when they pan over to that saw, I did not take that as comedy at first. I took that as dead serious. And now I realize that was like really, really dark humor is what that was.
Yeah, I think there's a little bumbling idiot dark humor in there, but I think also what the beginning of that movie is setting up. So like for me, I hated the father right off the bat. Mm-hmm. And then especially once we get into the hostage situation, I was like, dude, these guys suck. These guys are huge pieces of shit. I don't like these characters at all. But it sold the end when they're teaching all the elves to be good men and everything, and he's like petting his son, he's smiling. That made it so funny at the end, because you're like, no, you guys are huge pieces of shit. Yeah. But now here you are trying to run a seminar on how to be good. Like, right. I found that hilarious at the end.
Even at the end, they still, even though they're blowing up Santa, they're still going to get
they're selling people. It's still human trafficking.
No, they took the horns. They took the horns.
Yeah.
They still got their 30 pieces of gold or their pound of flesh, whatever you want to call it. But again, what do we say? They're poor. Like, here's the thing. They live in a very rural area. Who the fuck are we to judge how they make their money? You know what I mean?
The way they make their money was taken away from them. All the reindeer were killed.
By Americans,
Yeah, by Americans.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah,
we outsourced it. Yeah, we took away jobs.
I didn't even think about all that. That really does. Play into
this movie is heavy political commentary.
Yeah,
it's political commentary. It's religious commentary. It's funny, but it's also kind of glaringly obvious. But I don't mind it. It's short, but yeah, I mean, it's all there. What I do like is the fact that this movie could only be made in Finland.
Yeah.
Because the character of this Santa originated in Finland. It is the home of the original,
the original Santa Claus.
Yeah, the original Santa Claus incarnation. So that's why this is why everyone's like, oh, it's Finnish. Well, it kind of has to be, which makes it even cooler.
And I agree.
So maybe because at one point they call Santa. This isn't the Coca-Cola Santa Claus. Yeah, this is totally a commentary on like something we've taken from their culture. We turned it into something. And then we came back, and it has destroyed them.
Yeah, and you notice how like the Americans became the drones because we became slaves to Santa. Ooh, it's so clever. Yeah, I mean, duh.
Holy shit! I didn't see any of this.
It's so dumb.
I didn't catch all of this, but I mean, I think it's pretty funny. I think it's fairly clever because I didn't catch all of it. I caught some of the underlying tones, but some of it I didn't catch, and now that we're kind of talking about it, I'm like, I think it's kind of clever.
I like how Jay kind of likes it, but he kind of hates it too at the same time.
No, I get it. No, I don't mind.
Too heavy-footed for you?
No.
Or heavy-handed or whatever?
It's fine. No, it's totally fine. I mean, one thing we should be able to do as Americans is laugh at ourselves because a lot of the world laughs at us anyway.
Yeah.
So it's cool when you go, oh, I get it.
Hey,
to be honest, I thought it could have been a little more clever.
When you've got a big dick like us Americans, anyone can laugh at us. We don't care.
Big bulbous penis.
Yes. Just keep that in mind.
Did anybody else see when the helicopter's lifting the kids? That right after seeing all these old naked men running around, that looked like a giant ball sack in the sky.
I don't think that was an accident.
It was not on accident. I was like, what the fuck is this movie doing? That was almost where the movie lost me. I'm like, what the
ball sack? Could you imagine that movie in 3D?
Oh my god, it's coming at you. A whole
lot of potato sack.
We can go back and we can re-edit it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the time, especially now that we're in quarantine again. So yeah, the movie, I thought it was fun that they went to try to sell the Santa and like they wanted more money, but then kind of like everything kind of sets itself up. This is like almost, I feel like a perfect screenplay because everything that's set up is paid off eventually. Except for, I didn't really understand the kid taking his calendar and stapling it shut and then opening up the big 25 at the end. Was that just to show like his journey from being a child to being an adult then? Is that what that was?
I think it was him being afraid of Santa Claus. That's why he was stapling it shut.
Okay. Oh, because he was afraid he would get like a little Santa figure or something like that. in the last
And that
movie.
imagery of the big 24 on the door, that camera shot, I thought was a great camera shot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was
pretty
really
cool.
fucking cool.
So
Yeah.
Santa,
This,
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna just say this movie is filled with really, really cool shots.
It is, yeah.
Like film school shots. Like, hey guys, we're gonna study this shot right here. You know, just beautiful, beautiful shots.
Well, the cinematography is definitely wonderful, and like somebody said earlier, the CGI used in this, while looking cheap, doesn't look too cheap. I think it works, and it goes from feeling grounded and real at the beginning until it feels more fantastical. And David's theory that the kid did die and that this movie becomes a fantasy, or even Jay saying that it went to a Spielberg, which is ultimate cinematic fantasy across the board. You can tell there is a difference in the cinematography from the beginning being more grounded to the end where it's purely fantastical. And whenever they're loading, spoilers, the Santa onto the ship, it just looks like it's straight out of a CGI cartoon. So
I mean, the tone definitely changes.
100%.
Yeah, the tone definitely changed, which was my problem with it, because I was really enjoying the first part of the tone. I really liked the Thing vibe, and I love it. Like, did you guys ever see 30 Days of Night?
Yes. Yeah, it's great.
You know how
Josh Hartnett with the vampires.
Yeah.
Killing
How in the beginning, when shit starts going wrong and they don't know what's happening, that's what I liked about this movie. Was stuff started happening and you're like, what the hell is going on? The potato sack's missing, a hand dryer's missing. I love the mystery of that, of all this shit going down. And then the one kid's like screaming at everybody, guys, this is what's happening, and no one's listening to him.
The one thing that does irk me is the exposition axe head guy, the millionaire who gets taken out, when he says out of nowhere, he goes, "This isn't Santa, this is his helper." That part did make me go like, oh, that's the twist. The elves are the twist of this movie. The fact that they're all old men with their old penises hanging out, and you got to see them for the last 20 minutes of the film. It's one of those things where it's just like, that's a cool twist, though, to take the elves and have them be...
I loved it, man.
Have them be Padme, have them be fucking, decoys. And I thought that was kind of a cool twist. Did you guys...
That's where I went, wait a minute, is this Elf Bowling the movie?
Yes! Yes, it is! Yes!
This is
Woo!
Elf Bowling the movie. What the fuck?
I love Elf Bowling, dude. That game's still fun. I just
Don't
played.
they have their dicks out, the elves and that, and they have long beards and.
That's right. They show it all.
I'm pretty sure they moon or they do something. They flash at some point.
They moon. They go Santa. Look Santa, and they smack their asses. What it is.
Yeah.
But it is. You're right. Is it Elf Bowling the movie? I guess in a way it is. They do round them up at the end and put them in a pin. So, but yeah, it's kind of a cool twist. Jay, did you like that twist or no?
What? The fact that they made all the old men the elves?
Yeah, the decoys. Yeah.
No, that's an amazing twist, because you get to see again, elves aren't they're not the typical little creatures, whatever. But it does go back to that fact that Santa uses a bunch of dirty old men to corral up kids for him to eat. That goes back to that pedophile thing again. Just that real kind of. But I mean, that's what I thought the movie got really scary. And the most fucked up thing is when Pieter, he basically is sacrificing himself, and you can only imagine the ungodly things that these guys are going to do to him. And you're like, this kid. But the way this kid, the way he goes, "Tell my dad what I did today." Mm-hmm. Like, good Jesus Christ!
Oh,
what is this kid gonna put himself through?
Oh my God!
But then it went very faculty. It definitely pulled the faculty, and they killed the big bad, and all the other ones don't have anything to do.
God,
they all lose their so.
Yeah, and then you get into the idea of what this 90-minute film was to explain why the short film existed. And I think that's what's really, really, really funny is to have we're going to export out the Santa Clauses. We're going to train them. We're going to teach them how to be Santas, and then we're going to put them out in the black market, I guess. But how does that work in the long run? Don't they revert back? Go ahead, Austin.
I don't think you're supposed to think about it too much.
It's not.
I think it's just a fun way to wrap it up.
Did that ending throw you guys off, though? David, you said that's the thing you wanted to talk about, because because
I love the ending of them shipping off the people. I imagine them shipping off to malls across the country, across the world. That these are Santas that are at malls now, and that's what they're doing. They're basically shipping these guys off. But yeah, I just, for me, like I said, the tone. I wanted the tone to stay the same, and so that's why I came up with my fantasy world of everyone dies. It makes me happy.
Maybe this movie is supposed to explain to kids why there's mall Santas. Because if there's mall Santas all over the country, how's that the real Santa? Oh well, we ship them out of Finland. We mass produce them and ship them out of Finland.
They allude to it too. I mean, the dad literally alludes to it. He goes, "Now you know why Santa can be in zillions of places at once."
Yeah.
He sends all these ones out.
And
helpers.
And I like that aspect of it, is that idea of like they're being sent out, but where do they ship them back? I mean, I know you said not to overthink it. You're right, but I had to. Do they ship them back after the Christmas season? Do they have to send them back and they retrain them again? Does it repeat?
I hope they get them back, because I mean, if they're doing $85,000 a pop on these guys, and that's just the rental fee, that's just for a month of rental fee. Yeah, hell yeah, dude, that's a great business model.
This movie could use a sequel.
I would be interested to see what they would do with it, because they did so much with this one. And if you watch the first two shorts, you can see it kind of go from being like this idea of hunting a Santa Claus down like it's a wild animal, to the idea of how to take care of them, and how to, because they're very homicidal, Santa Clauses. And I did like that whenever they were training the Santa, like it kept like trying to bite at the face of the child doll, and I was just like, oh my god, this is insane, like it's horrible, but it's also really funny. I want to give a shout out real quick to the documentary I Am Santa Claus. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It was made by Mick Foley and another guy. It's an amazing documentary about what it is like to be a mall Santa. So if you get a chance, go check that out. But it's
that's why we had when we had Mick Foley at the club, we had a bunch of Santas come out. I remember that.
Yeah, one of the Santas they follow is actually from Fort Worth, and he's gay Santa, and he's fucking awesome. He's the best Santa in the thing. He's just a big, lovable, cuddable
big
bear.
Old bear Santa.
Big old bear. And he's just so sweet, dude. And you just fall in love with him. It's wonderful.
Hey, I got a pitch for a sequel.
Sure.
Since you said it, Jay. The horns that they have, right?
Yeah.
So, the guy, someone that is related to the guy that got killed, the big rich guy, he takes the horns, extracts the DNA, and then builds the giant fucking Santa Claus that we can finally see.
I thought that was what's gonna happen. Like I was like, okay, that's the thing that's gonna lead. I think
they're gonna make a theme park out of it.
No, I just didn't think. I thought that was definitely on purpose. They definitely they cut out the horns. It's like, oh, we want to get rich, but it's gonna be their undoing.
They make a theme park, and then it gets destroyed, then it gets rebuilt again, and then they go to a mansion, and it becomes really weird.
Dude, that's $1 million idea. Why haven't they made a fucking Santa theme park, though? They should make Christmas theme parks. See, I went to the American
Santa Land. They have Santa
there
Land.
is one. Yeah,
there is?
Uh-huh.
When are we going?
24/7, 365. Yeah.
What? It's all the time. Like what is it? All right, this movie's great. What is the Santa place? What are you talking about? Like it's in a building or something like that?
Dude, there's this show I watched back in the day called Fanatic, and one of them was this person who's obsessed with Santa, and there's like this town that's literally Christmas all the time.
I think it's in the documentary. I forgot about that. Yeah, totally.
Probably, yeah.
It's freaking awesome. Well, guys, I enjoyed the shit out of this movie. I thought it was great. I will say for me, just go, Jay. Do you recommend this movie?
Oh, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. It's super cool.
Yeah, I think it's a blast. How about you, Austin? Would you recommend?
I'd recommend this movie. I'd say, me personally, I didn't enjoy every minute of it. There was definitely some parts I was kind of dragging for me, but overall, I especially by the end of this movie, I liked this movie a lot.
Fuck yeah! How about you, David? What do you think?
Yes, I recommend it, and I also recommend watching the shorts.
Yeah, definitely go back and watch
those. Those really add a lot to the lore of the film. And I wanted to, can I show you guys something real quick?
Yeah, hit it up.
Hang on one second.
I'm going to say, while he checks it out, the second short's even better than the first, like I've said before, because it goes through the rules of dealing with the Santa Claus, and it's a lot funnier. There's just, I don't want to ruin it, but there's a lot of things that are done in that short that are just absolutely amazing. What does he have here? Oh, he's got the Santa from it. Holy crap, he's got the horns and everything.
They call it the Yule Goat. I looked it up.
That's what it's called, the Yule Goat?
That's what it translates to. That's why he has horns.
That's right. That's the one you used for the stop motion that you made for this week, which was awesome, by the way. Thank you again.
Thanks. What's on his back? Is that just a bag, or?
Did you make that whole thing?
It's a kit bash. So I found the Santa Claus at a thrift store, and then I added all this other stuff to it.
That's freaking
amazing.
And
then I like this little tiny Santa Claus down here. It's got like a death hood on it.
The BDSM Santa is what we call it. Is that one for sale?
This one's already sold.
It's already sold. Boom, done.
Yep.
That's absolutely amazing work. Yeah, highly recommend this movie. Check it out. It's a fun watch. It's one of those movies you're going to tell your friends about and be like, "Hey, did you ever see Rare Exports?" And then
Easy watch too, right? 90 minutes goes by pretty fast.
cake. And I think it's a fun watch. And I think by the time you're at the end of it, you're just like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" And I think that ending does have. It might turn some people off, but for me, it totally worked. And it's its own short film almost. So it just goes back to the vibe of the short films. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I mean, no, I didn't find that ending so shocking. I mean, I guess it's basically the basis of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like it would put. I mean, when you realize that's the basis of the movie, though,
Yeah.
I remember thinking that's the first thing I thought was 90 minutes to get to that 3-minute segment just to show us, exporting out some fucking Santa Clauses. I was like, that's bravo. That's what I thought. I thought bravo, nicely done.
And another movie I thought this movie also borrowed from was Children of the Corn. I totally saw a big Children of the Corn vibe with that Santa being the he who walks behind the rose character.
Oh yeah.
And all the things being his little, his cult members. And just like at the end of Children of the Corn, spoiler, it's been 40 years, deal with it. They blow him up. They blow him up just like they do Santa. And when they blow up he who walks behind the rose, most of the kids are like, "Oh shit, I got to go find a foster home," because it's just like that. So I don't know.
Right on. Well, if there's nothing else to say, let's get to some clips from the movie. So I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do this. I will try to share with you guys, and we'll see what happens. So let me know if you can see these, okay? All right. Can you see them?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So as I do this, I'll kind of go back and forth, seeing as I'm running Tech 2, so bear with me. So first we got the Christmas rules. Let me know if you can hear it, guys.
Make sure everyone has one of these.
What are these?
It's the new safety instructions.
Wash behind the ears. This is funny shit.
Watch your mouth! It's Christmas time. So let's act like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was really funny how they had the different rules, like no drinking, no swearing, no smoking, just like be good. Plays into the lore of it, but I'm really curious to dive deeper into the lore of the original Santa Claus and find out if it was simply a Satan type of figure, which I guess makes sense because Satan and Santa do have the same letters, don't they? Huh.
I want to give a shout out to the guy who was playing the old rich guy, because I think the overacting was pretty good there, because it's very over the top, and it reminded me a lot, especially around his mouth and just the way he did his face. Jim Broadbent, I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Yeah, from Harry Potter 6. Yeah, totally.
Harry Potter, Moulin Rouge.
He was in,
the way he
Hot Fuzz.
always has his mouth real.
Yeah.
It kind of gave me that vibe, and it was I thought it was pretty funny.
And how he talks, he enunciates like this. Be very good.
Just very on point.
Yeah. Very cool guy. Very cool opening, I think. I mean, so, all right. Next, we've got Hole in the Fence. Now, I will try to read the subtitles for those on the audio version. Juuso, is Santa Claus dead?
Uskot sä tyhmä vieläkin joulu?
What a baby. You still believe in Santa?
Hän tulla jo.
Come on. I just wanted to use that scene to show that that they put the hole there, and like I said, when you're a kid, you go exploring, you get into mischief. I mean, I did. My older brothers, they got into way more mischief than me. I remember one time we were in a badly made hunting shanty. It was like not a shanty, but up in the hill, or it was up in a tree. Sorry. And we were just playing around in that thing, and we knocked that fucker right off the tree. It was probably only 6 feet up, but just little things like that. We didn't know who built that. We didn't know how it got up there, but we just knew we could climb up in it and play around, and we ended up taking that thing to the ground. We were all okay, but when you're a kid, you just get into mischief, So
I like how being a kid in Finland and being a kid in the South isn't that different. At 11, you got a mullet and a gun.
Right.
That was your rite of passage.
Yep, and some kind of machine you rode.
Dude, I want a snowmobile. Those things look so awesome.
That's fucking badass.
I want to ride a snowmobile at one point in my life.
I'll take a 4-wheeler over that snowmobile.
What's interesting though, when you watch this, man, the language, the Finnish language is so interesting. I'm listening to it, I'm like, that's not real. That's made up. That can't be real. It's such an interesting, they almost have clicks language is really
the whole
cool.
Nordic language has this amazing tone to it. Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark. They're all just it's a beautiful language. I think I really do. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's almost sing-songy too. Now they're acting, but at the same time, like you can feel the emotion in the words they're putting across. That's why I said the father and the kid specifically, they're amazing actors because it almost the way their tone is and stuff speaks for itself. So, whereas the guy at the opening isn't as good, but I think he's Finnish too. He's doing an American accent. So, all right, next we've got The Real Santa. So he's just looking through some books here. Oh, I just love the look of that. And that's a cool shot there. That, like somebody said, the film school shot. I just thought that was a cool shot for the film, and just to show like a little bit of the lore. They build like the history of Santa is not a good person or a good mythical creature, and that little bit there. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right.
By the way, was anybody else really uncomfortable when he was running around in his little tidy blueies? Blue underwear?
Yes, I was very uncomfortable with that. Yes.
Well,
yes.
especially because they did a foot to top shot at one point.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And then his face, he kind of looks like a little girl also, and so I was very just uncomfortable during all of that.
I thought him and his buddy both had a very certain androgyny about him.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay. Yeah, but him walking around, like when he was walking around in his blue underwear, like, but he owned it.
Yeah.
He owned it. So, like, that's what I do. This is what I do.
I did that shit when I was his age, especially on Christmas morning.
Shit, dude, I did that shit this morning. Are you guys kidding me? I walk around in my fucking blue underwear all the time. Like, that's just who I am.
Like, he's judging you.
Yeah.
That's how it's working.
All right, what do I got? Where'd it go? I did not clip that, by the way. No way. Dead deer.
Ah, such a cool shot.
That's a cool shot.
This was about $200,000.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, the deers were amazing. Now, I don't know if those were CGI or not, or if those were practical effects, but they
take a closer look.
Kick ass.
Those look real to me. I mean, based upon the shot too, it would probably just be cheaper to put out the. And I'm sure they've got taxidermy.
I bet the ones that are more in the background are probably just like
CGI.
a part of the skin. No, it could be CGI or just like
Holy
a rug
shit.
that they lay down.
They're
and
layered.
The ones up close are the more detailed ones.
If you guys can see it, they're actually layered. Because look at this top left one, and look at the top left of that kid's shoulder. That's almost the exact same. So they're actually, it's a layer is what it is. I can kind of see it now that I'm looking at it closer.
This one on the right kind of stands out too. Look at the edging on it.
Right.
Next to this guy's shoulder, it's a little darker and the lines are a little more defined.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
again, a great shot. I mean, how beautiful is that?
Yeah. And it's just shocking to see it too.
Yeah.
Like so many.
Good scenery will make up for really expensive cinematography any day of the week. It really will.
Right.
And they picked amazing places to shoot.
Yeah, you can't fake that. You can't fake real, and you feel it. You feel the weight of things like that, and that's what we always talk about. Like, we love how they did the new Star Wars movies where they mixed the practical and the CGI. Guillermo del Toro did that with Hellboy 2, which I absolutely love. With one of his villains is to have the puppet and the CGI mix, and I think that those, when they're blended together, can work really well. But you've got to have the weight, and that's the problem with CGI. Excluding Jurassic Park, which did kind of use that technique. Jurassic Park is like the only film I've ever seen where it was the perfect blending of both of those, where I buy it the whole way through.
So there's a shot later in this movie that reminds me of a shot from Jurassic Park, and it's the shot, you might have it in the clips, but it's the shot where it's from the helicopter and all the elves are running. They're trying to get them in the pen.
Yes.
And so it's dark because that's one of the basic principles. If you have cheap CGI, you can make it look really good by making the scenery dark, put it at night, and then like Spielberg did it with rain with the T-Rex. They did it with snow here. So you kind of blur the entire image, but it just sells the shot so much more. And I'm pretty sure that shot of the elves running in the pen is CG. It looked very CG to me. But, but I thought it was a great shot.
Narwhal 365 said, "I don't remember that one, but I do remember the fires back behind your house." I'm gonna guess this is my cousin, because how else would you remember that? And we party pretty hard, so I'm gonna guess this. I don't know who Narwhal is, but I'm gonna guess that's my cousin. Alrighty, on to the next clip. Oh shit, I screwed it up already. I mean, I really take Ethan for granted. I always thank him after we do a cast, but like he really does. So thank you, Ethan, for being on top of stuff all the time. I really appreciate that.
Mitä sä oikein teet?
The real Santa. What are you doing?
Et sä jo avata
Aren't
sitä?
you going to open it?
En.
No.
Teippaa nää sun
Tape these on your bum, and he's
Oota
handing them
tosissaan.
cardboard. Are you serious?
No miltä näyttää?
How do I look?
Siltä kun sulla ois
Like a
vaipa.
kid in a diaper.
Tänkö takia mun
You
piti
brought me
tulla
here just
tänne?
for this?
Kato näitä.
Look. He hands him a picture of Santa Claus boiling a child.
Oikein joulupukki.
The
oli
real
vähän
Santa was
erilainen.
totally different. The
Kukispukki on
Coca-Cola
vaan
Santa
helposti.
is just a hoax.
Just
I
like
love
the
that
Mä oon
virus.
jostain satukirjasta.
These are from some fairy tale. This isn't. And he shows him a picture of something
Mikä
under the
tää on?
ground, the sonogram.
Todiste
What is that?
siitä, että
Proof that some
sadusta
fairy
on.
tales are true.
What was that picture of? I never made sense of that.
What it is it's, and I'll pull it up again here. It is, they did a sauna, not a sonogram, but kind of like that. They did like a pulse into the ground to see what they could find.
Okay.
So they could dig is what it is.
Gotcha.
So that's what it is. It's like showing that there's something hollow in the ground. So you can see the sawdust around here, and you can see actually the Santa and the horns right there if you see it.
Oh, I totally missed that.
Yeah.
Where did
so
he get that picture?
He stole
Remember they
that.
were up there, up at the thing. Remember when him after
Okay.
they saw the big giant hole, they went to the top where the whole place was abandoned.
Right. Okay, and they found it there. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, on to the next. On to the next. Let's share this. On to the next. This is that cool shot. Sleepy time. This is that cool shot I was talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, this is so cool.
This is like a fairy tale. I guess it is called Rare Exports: A Christmas Tale or something like that. I do also like the fact that the kid, like, he armored himself when he told his friend, "Hey, put this cardboard on your butt."
Yeah.
To protect it so you don't get spanked, you know what I mean? Or maybe even something further than that, because I didn't see all the, the allusions to everything else. But that was kind of cool. I thought that he was wearing armor the whole movie, and they're like, "Well, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just playing a game." But he wasn't. He knew what was coming. He knew that like he was in trouble. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I want to meme that shot real quick. Me after my first day of work after 8 months of quarantine.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I'm telling you, I can't even imagine, man. Alrighty. We got cargo.
Is the cargo ready?
Cargo, don't you understand? It still has a pulse!
Calm down, Mr. Green, and just follow the safety instructions.
Fuck your safety instructions!
Oh,
Don't do it, man.
Did y'all notice that they gave that?
Boom. Sorry, go ahead, Jack.
Did y'all notice that they kind of gave those legs a green hue?
No, I
I
didn't.
didn't notice that. I also didn't notice that the guy says he still has a pulse. I missed that.
Okay, here's what I don't understand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can, and I don't think that's an accident. Like that's like elves are known to wear like green.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, these are the elves. These are, but they intentionally don't show you anything else, and they make it really snappy quick. So you're like, oh, those could be yoga pants or whatever elves wear.
I'm shocked that there's not a big old donger hanging down
They
from the
fucking
son of a
passed
bitch.
out yoga pants to all the Americans.
I guess I got like everything this movie was throwing at me. Like I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
Well, shit, Jay, even right there, like the next scene is Mr. Green that I'm going to show, and he's like
what's
you
his
just
name?
said,
Mr. Green.
Mr. Green, yeah, I didn't even
Hey,
put
real
two and two
quick,
together.
Here's
Yes.
what I don't understand. If the Santa was still frozen, what got those guys that made their helmets fly off and everything?
The elves.
Like it seems
The
like they were
elves.
grabbed,
Yeah,
No, the elves.
yeah, but where
How
did
did-
the elves?
but they
come
were the
from?
ones turned into the elves.
Yeah, where do the elves come from?
I
They-
think the elves have always been out in the wild, and it wasn't until Santa was brought out of the ice that they woke up.
They were
and started-
activated.
They were activated, and they kind of are going out and collecting children and are going to get them. But the elves are the ones that killed the guys, because later on you see them and they're holding shovels and pickaxes in the background.
Well, see, I thought because Mr. Green turned into an elf, I thought it was all the guys that were on that construction team blowing those all turned into to Santa-looking guys, which are the elves.
Oh my
I thought
God.
it was that whole crew was turned into elves.
There's a Thing
Not that
style
they were
movie
killed.
happening that maybe one of them got possessed and then it slowly possessed the others. And like you guys said earlier, the Thing is happening in a different side movie to this movie where the elves are getting possessed one by one. Maybe that's what's going on. So maybe
I could see that, because you don't ever really see them get killed, do you?
No. I was under the impression they weren't dead. I was under the impression all those guys were the guys from the crew.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's cool. All right, I didn't even think about that. You don't think, Jay?
Just because they're all super old, and I just wouldn't. I mean, I'm just thinking very American imperialist right now. Like, if I were to, be digging up a Santa creature, I would probably be using a little bit younger workforce.
Yeah.
Well, but but that's the thing is Santa's helpers in some cases look like Santa a lot. Like when you look at figurines or you look at like elf bowling and stuff like that, sometimes they're represented like that. Plus, Mr. Green, the guy at the beginning, he had a shorter beard. It was like my size beard. And then when you see him in the butcher shop or whatever, he's got a long beard. His hair isn't as much there. Yeah, his hair is shaved off.
I think Austin, I think you're onto something, because
I'll buy it.
Yeah, that's starting to make more sense, because why would he have that license and that ID on him?
Yeah, no, he was that guy.
But who was the first? Who was the first elf? That's a good question.
Maybe when they brought it out, somebody touched it or something, and he was the first one, and then slowly it spread throughout the crew.
Which is why the whole place was abandoned.
Oh, that's exactly why. That's what he was like. He had a couple crew members left, and he's like, "We got to go," but like, that's fucking great, and that's why he was like, "Shit's going weird around here. Why does it have a pulse?"
I was under the impression everybody turned into the elves, but I just didn't know how it started because Santa was frozen.
And they would all look like old men by the end of it, because for that very reason. That's fucking great. Like I said, there's a Thing style movie happening here. Totally sold. Totally sold. All right, Mr. Green. We're not talking about Cluedo.
That's such a cool shot. All the little hooks and everything.
His eyes moving there. I noticed that when I first watched it, and
feels a little bit like Hostel right here.
Yeah.
Watch, you can see his eye moving. He's got REM going on. See?
Yep.
Green, Brian, Jonathan. And this is when they're deciding what they're going to do. They look at the saw. I have an hour to my first Santa saw.
We got to chop up a body. I got to go play Santa Claus.
Just go back into it, man. I mean, you just got to go on with your day after dealing with the body, I guess. I don't know.
I love how the guys just immediately were like, "Yeah, we're gonna chop this guy up."
Oh yeah, these are Finnish men. They don't fuck around. They just go back into it. So.
And they're practical. They're like, we got shit to do.
Yeah. I gotta get to the fucking first Santa shop. Replacement. This is what I was talking about earlier about the dog. Voop, stay. Voop is his pet dog. That's a stuffed animal.
This is so cool.
It looks like him a little bit too, I know. Or maybe I was just looking into it too much.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's
like
creepy.
Somebody has that in their house right now. Like someone has that prop.
Somebody. Oh, you're right. I never even thought about that, because somebody loves this movie. So this is their movie. You know what I mean? And so they had to have that prop. That's fucking awesome. All right. On to the next. Sack of potatoes. Here, Austin. You can see them. I'm here because of some potatoes. Yes and no. It's Mike. They only took the sacks. That's a cool shot, too.
Totally, Mike.
Hey, hello.
Holy mackerel. All right. Ginger snaps. I like this scene a lot. Gingerbread?
That's creepy.
Gets close. Not as Oh! That looks legit. And he's a fucking badass. He's just wiping at it, but that shit looked legit. Like, that hurt. I like it. All right, on to the next. No kids. So the kid's on the phone, and he's got a list of names, and he goes, "Oh, he isn't? Okay, thanks anyway." No, I haven't seen him. Merry Christmas, bye. And he crosses off another name from the list. I thought that was kind of cool too, because it just lets you know, like, he's figuring this shit out. Like, he already knows it. He's trying to tell everyone. He's trying to tell the father. He's just putting it two and two together. And who would believe him? He's just a kid.
Well, this is a nice little redemption story for him, like for his character, because at the beginning, I think he feels a lot of guilt about opening up that fence, costing his family all that money, and then by the end, they're making all the money because he figures out everything that's going on. So I thought that was a nice little redemption story for him.
Yeah, he's got definitely a good storyline. On to the next here, we've got He Sees You.
Yes.
Creepy.
Oh, watch his eyes.
Listen to that music too.
Oh yeah, full orchestra. Did the soundtrack. Oh,
Look at his
so
eyes. What is he looking at? And that kind of goes along with this next scene. Go ahead.
Oh, you're probably gonna show the scene what I was gonna talk about.
Yeah, what were we gonna talk about?
Him hanging.
Yes.
Hanging and all wrapped up. It's so cool.
That's what's coming next. Yes, I like that a lot.
I like how he immediately drags his son closer to the
to the danger.
He immediately grabs him and he's like, "Get over here!
Come towards the danger, Pitare." All right. I just put chilling because this is funny to me.
This made me laugh out loud. This was great. Just them sitting like that.
So creepy.
Beautifully creepy.
The sound design too.
Just chilling and eating some ginger snaps.
The dad kind of looked like a Finnish Mark Wahlberg in that shot.
A little bit.
Right there.
Yeah.
I thought it was Guy Pearce.
What's going on here?
I kept thinking.
Guy Pearce once.
I kept trying to figure out if Mike is the guy with the gun, which one I am, and I'm like, well, maybe I look like the pilot. Like, I don't know, because I was just trying to figure out, like, maybe I have a group of friends that look like these characters. But like, I kept thinking the whole time, I was like, fucking Mike's in this movie. I can't believe it. All right.
Oh, can I mention one little thing that made me kind of crack up?
Go ahead.
Is when they were talking about all the things they stole. They're like, they stole the potato sacks, and they stole the radiators, and they stole your wife's hair dryer. Like, what? How's that? I don't understand. Like,
then he finds it.
Yeah. Just,
and
he puts it back. He's like,
and he makes the joke about how this would be high tech in Russia. So.
Yeah.
Take that.
So apparently,
Russians.
somebody on that mountain has electricity because she's plugging in that hair dryer, or it's a hand crank.
She ain't messing around. She requires it. Someone forgot to check the midget traps. I can't say midget. I forgot, but I said anyhow. Because he's about to say it. What a midget. This cracked me up.
Dude, that last dude kind of looks like Willem Dafoe. That's like Finnish Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
That's Mike.
Yeah, he does. Yep.
That's right there. Look at that right there.
That's very Willem Dafoe.
Yep.
There, he said it again. We're going to get kicked off the internet. All right. Selling Santa. Say something.
Yeah, we are men. Let's do business.
Business? What kind of business? What do you want?
And he's looking at Santa in a cage. Uh-oh. His eyes lit up.
Shh. Put down your weapons and smile. As nice as you can. God damn it. Santa is going to find out who is naughty or nice.
That I don't know. That's just so much fun to me. Like that whole scene. And then, do you think he gets killed because he said, "God damn it"?
That's he gets killed. He gets killed.
That's what I thought. I was like, man, why did you curse? You knew it was going to happen. All right. Speaking of his death, the elves come out to play. What on earth is happening here?
Protecting their master.
Whoa! It's really the only death scene in the whole movie. I mean, is it a horror movie? I don't know. It's a horror fantasy.
I think it's a
comedy.
black comedy.
Yeah,
it's a black comedy.
Yeah, but it definitely that's pretty much the only one. But I'm kind of happy. I said I'm kind of happy that the three characters, the adults, got to live and they become like this weird trio, and it becomes a really weird movie at the end. That's just like a really fun action film for a minute second. But yeah, I like this movie. It's a lot of fun. All right, we got the real Santa. Oh yeah, here he comes.
So cool.
It is cool. And the
so
pan,
huge.
The pan, and you see the heat coming off it. It's the heat from everything. I thought that was pretty cool.
I'm actually kind of glad that they didn't show the Santa. I think, David, you said earlier you wish you would have seen it, but I kind of like the mystery behind it, and still like you get to see the horns and the threat of it melting, and like, oh shit, this guy's coming. But they didn't do a big breakout monster chase scene. It was just like, we got him before he even became a problem.
Right. And
and Jay's right. They just didn't have the budget.
Yeah,
there's no way that would have cost so much money to make a giant Santa Claus.
I think it would have taken away from the movie a little bit to see the thing in action. I really do. I think that it's. I think part of the mythos is that they stopped it. Like that's like, and they did it together.
Yeah.
and I think if this was an American movie, you would have had that scene where he breaks free, and then they have to find a way to defeat him, and the whole third act would have been different. The way it played out was perfect.
And the horns are enough to let you know that there's something menacing happening. I think showing those pictures in the beginning of the movie really set it up, how big and bad the villain would be, and then just to see the size with those giant antlers, you're like, holy shit, this thing's out of control. But who said the faculty earlier?
Me right here.
That was a great fucking
But it's kind of like, by not seeing the monster, the monster can now be whatever you want it to be underneath that ice.
That's the whole Hitchcock thing. That's Hitchcock always said that.
Are you making fun of me?
But
I agree with you 100%.
The shower scene in Psycho, you never see the knife going into the girl's body.
But you think you do. You think you did. It's Mandela.
Yep.
Yeah, it comes down to what you don't see, what your brain can make up is actually scarier.
Jaws works so much better because the shark never worked, so all you saw was the fin.
You barely see Bruce, and then Scarface is a great example when they chop the guy's arm off in the shower with the chainsaw. You never actually see that happen. What you see is the aftermath of the arm, I believe. You might not even see that, but you see his reaction, and the reaction allows your mind to create this reality that's just much more terrifying. So
Austin brings up a good point about seeing the whole monster, and that. Sorry.
No, it's freaking me out. What was that? Is that?
It's a face hugger.
Yeah, no.
But in the movie Alien, my all-time favorite movie, it's kind of disappointing for some people at the end when you get to see the full alien, because it's just a guy in a suit.
Really?
Whereas up to that point, you only see sections of it. You only see the head or the tail or arm. You never see the full thing. And so I have to agree with Austin and Jay that it's probably better that you don't get to see.
Well, they say like the golden rule in movie making, right, is show don't tell, but sometimes that can include what you don't show.
Yeah.
Good, Jay. What are you gonna say?
Well, okay, so I'll give you a good example of when you do finally get to see whatever it is you've been waiting to see forever, where it really didn't pan out very well. Y'all ever seen y'all watch the Ash versus Evil Dead show?
Yeah.
I didn't.
So okay, David, then I'll spoil this for you, and I don't think it's that crazy. But in the first movie and the second movie and the third movie, you see the force that's coming at Ash only through the camera.
Yes.
In Ash versus Evil Dead, they finally turn a kind of mirror at it, and you see what it actually is coming at him, and it's just a big stupid cloud. It's like a scene from Lost, and I was like, "Oh man, it totally ruined it for me."
Yeah,
they managed to not show me for 3 movies, and you had like Deadites that were created by this thing, but you never saw the the actual, basically the eyes and ears of it, and then you finally do, and you're like, oh, don't do that to me.
Dang it.
That sounds much scarier in like a theory, because like the idea of like a fog coming at you in reality would be terrifying, but it just doesn't translate to cinema. It doesn't sound like. So
I think if we're gonna tease a big monster, tease it for a little bit, but show it at some point, not too late. You want to get it out there if your plan is to show the monster. Otherwise, if you tease it in an entire multiple movies, at a certain point, that's just what the lore is, the lore is, and the audience just relates to that, and don't show it now.
Yeah,
and this movie showed you tons of pictures of the Santa, and it's also like a consolation prize. I think y'all would agree, during the credits where you get to see those images again. Like, hey, we're sorry.
Well, it's so great that they take the horns. I love that.
Oh yeah,
right. And that is a great explosion, man. When that building blows up, that is fucking awesome.
Speaking of
apparently it was a real explosion, and they enhanced it with some CGI. But that's like a real explosion. That was
$750,000 went into that explosion.
Right, right there.
Speaking of, we're going to show that. So let's continue with this. Sacks of children. Oh, those kids must be roasting. Please don't say something. Amo, leave the kid and come to us. Daddy's little boy. Let's go home, Daddy. Don't worry. We'll go home soon. It got louder somehow. Sorry, guys. Yeah, those kids must have been fucking roasting, because that was right by all the heaters and shit like that. I didn't notice that before, but when the guy starts kicking over the heaters, I was like, hell yeah, get it.
And let's talk about the fact that after they find the kids, they're like, we're not going to immediately let you out of the bag.
Keep you in the sacks.
We're gonna.
Yeah, what was that all
just a little
about?
bit longer.
Yeah,
you hated the heat? Well, you're gonna love our next plan.
Yeah. Well, that's why, because if you threw a bunch of kids in the... Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Holy fuck. Yeah,
he could have taken his son out still, and that was plenty of other kids. But now it's only fair.
He's like, nope, you're going back in there.
Finland is a very fair land.
Here's a little bit of the speech at the end.
Sojako minä tai
It's either me or Santa. He pulls out the explosives. I suggest Santa. And they're like, do you think that was a slight against American movies, or do you think?
I don't know, but that felt like an action movie, like an American action movie.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking of like all the stick around, like all the Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners. That felt like a action movie one-liner.
Yeah, totally. It was like, it's gonna be Santa. He's gonna die.
I say it's Santa.
Yeah, taking out the claws.
It's super cheesy, but it's short enough that you don't hate it, because it just it's like 6 words.
Yep, and it's the kid. The kid's doing it too, so you're almost cheering for him.
Oh yeah, you're like, exactly. Fuck yeah! I did. I think I cheered. I was
by the way, why were there so many fucking explosives in there?
Yeah, what was the story?
That was kind of handy.
Oh man.
Because the script had it in there.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Boom! Just being a badass, and
that was their the Americans, dynamite to go exploring.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. It was. Oh yeah, to get into it.
Panama Canal, anyone?
Don't worry, Dad. I'll be fine. And he's hanging onto the side of his sack.
It does. It's such a scrotum.
Sacks.
There they are.
Oh, they're so creepy looking.
This is the great CG shot.
They're following us. What did I tell you? Hopefully we can't see any dick. I tried my best to find one where you didn't see dick. There it is, Austin. Big old
and that's what makes it even better. A big old swinging nutsack around the middle of it.
Christmas ball.
Like Spielberg himself would do.
That's Spielberg right here. That's Hook. That is Hook. That is, E.T.
Can you imagine if the T-Rex in Jurassic Park had a big old nutsack hanging down?
Oh, Michael Bay would have added it.
He really is the king of the lizards.
Oh my God, it's huge. I mean, I really, number one, it was a female. If you remember, that was part of the story. But number two,
thanks for ruining my.
I know. I'm sorry. No, stay, Austin. Stay. Come back. I think he really left. So, but yeah, that's fun, and like I said, stop hating, please. That's the only scene that I could actually put with the old guys running because the schlongs weren't moving. So I was just like, well, I got to get in here somehow. So
That's blurry enough. I mean,
yeah.
that
Hopefully
kind of
no one saw it after my fucking nip slip last week. Holy shit, that was stupid.
Now, did you catch any backlash for that?
No, I deleted that Twitch stream immediately. So
what, the whole thing? It's lost?
No, I have a copy of it because I like to watch it by myself. No, it's gone though. Yeah, I showed titty last week on accident.
You pussy.
Yeah.
What movie was it?
It was Silent Night, Deadly Night. It was awesome. All right, Blowing Up Santa. He's got the dynamite wire. He's hitting with the antlers. And this is that explosion David was talking about. Have a Merry Christmas. Woo! There goes the hat. And a happy bloody New Year. That's a big
for like a half second there, David. Did you think like I do? Like you were gonna see that fucking form coming after him just a little bit?
Coming up out of it? Yeah.
Totally.
Yep.
I totally submit down.
Screaming, give me my horns back!
Get back here!
Santa's horny. Give it to me, you know?
That would have been a cool way of showing the monster without completely showing him. Where if he's just dying a little bit, so you see a little bit of the outline or something, but you don't get the full shot, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait till we get to Dead Alive. That ending. Have you guys seen Dead Alive before?
Yep.
We got that one coming up, right?
Yeah, we do. That's my birthday pick. It's my favorite horror movie of all time, and it's
none of the movies y'all have in your lineup. I've seen.
All right,
none of the ones in the past and the ones coming up. I'm not a horror movie guy, so all of these are new for me.
Please join us for Dead Alive because you want to talk big monster, and it's a Peter Jackson film. It is worth your time, but it is the goriest horror movie ever made, and it is so much fun. You don't agree with that? I mean, it's got the tag.
No. In my, of course, I agree. Season 4 of my Ego Phoenix Fearcast, it was all about gore.
Yeah.
That got the Halloween spot. So yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. All right, let's get to these last clips here. Then we got Making Christmas. This is actually the last clip, and it's going to be a little bit long, so we're going to just chill and watch and talk about it. I did cut a little bit. So it shows the elves holding the dolls and practicing being Santa Claus. Like I said, you can see the father and son, they're actually happy, and he's showing him how to be Santa Claus. And then one of them has graduated, so they put the cap on him. And they boxing them up, and it says Rare Exports, and it's heading
I love the logo of the Rare Exports logo.
Yes, and here's the thing is, I think the logo, they're going to show it, and I'll pause it, because it's very smart. You can tell that's a Santa Claus because we watched it. But if you didn't know what that was, you didn't know that was a Santa Claus, that could be a monster. And that's why it's so clever, because especially they had this logo on the initial short film. That's what makes it so good, is because if you just saw that logo and you saw Rare Exports, you'd be like, what the fuck is this? It looks like a Cthulhu, you know what I mean? Almost. So I thought that was really cool.
Like, even looking at it right now, I couldn't really tell what the Santa is, but I guess it's like big shoulders and thin arms.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
It's almost like Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas Santa. It's kind of about that way.
Also, this is going to Zanzibar, Tanzania.
Yeah. I don't know. That's where they're shipping it off to.
That has an Indiana Jones ending to it.
That is so much a Temple of Doom reference. It's ridiculous.
Not Temple of Doom, Raiders, right?
Raiders, you're right. Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm so sorry. And even this here with the guy, like, it looks so fake.
Nice little CG shot.
Boom. That's a cool logo. From the land of the original Santa Claus.
Avengers.
Yeah, the music though, I didn't even notice until watching those clips. This music is very John Williams-ish. It's big.
It's a great soundtrack.
It's bombastic.
Or
it's
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, it's got that, like, it's catchy, like literally to the point where I would be hearing it in my head and be like humming a little bit of it here, and then I kept hearing this Zelda song from the A Link to the Past, and then they were meshing, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? but like it's so similar, but it's really good. And I think that we don't talk about the soundtrack enough sometimes on these, but like we've had movies that have classic soundtracks such as Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th. This one has a soundtrack that it does its job, but also it's very catchy. So
couldn't every one of you guys like name about 10 or 20 American action movies this movie just humbled with how good it was?
I think
like,
we've named a bunch just tonight.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this movie is it's a wonder because it's really well done for super, super cheap.
Right.
$2 million, man.
This was definitely a passion project, and this guy is good at what he does, you know?
I mean, he took, almost 10 years, my guess would be, to make this film. 2003, the first short came out. The next one was followed in 2005, and then 2010, they got to make the movie. We got to find a tax credit is all I'm saying, because I'm sure Finland took care of a little bit of that movie. So if Texas got a filming tax credit, we'll take it. We're making a movie. Guys, with that said, I appreciate you being here. Also, I forgot we got to do Will Recommends. So let me get that loaded up real quick. Because even though Will wasn't here, he wanted to make sure that we have his recommendations. So here we go.
I'm a Twitch streamer. Look at me. I'm on the Twitches and I'm twitching, and I'm on the.
Let's just talk.
It's time for Will Recommends, and I'm on Twitch.
All the way.
Twitch,
minimize it.
and
minimize
we're twitching. We're doing the
talked
Twitches.
about how much we hated all of his
Twitch.
recommends, but now we can actually say it. Who does he think he is?
Do you see this though? He made it as though all of us were going to be here tonight, and he picked what shirt I'd be wearing.
We twitched. We have successfully twitched. We're twitching. Let's talk
hear
about
it.
Will Recommends, because I'm
see
very sorry
I
I had to send this video because I'm not on the show
I
tonight.
told you it's a
had
50-50
things
chance that we're in a simulation, and this is proof.
Yeah, we're in a
do,
simulation.
and I very much apologize that. So let's get right into it, though. 2 recommends for today. We're doing it a little different.
How do you
We're going to
explain
do
that? Are you
TV
pulling that up,
shows,
Duck, or-
television shows
Are you
for.
gaslighting us, Duck? Were we secretly doing Gaslight next week?
No.
This is how you're telling us?
No, I'm
We
just
don't-
doing Will Recommends. Why?
We're not seeing anything.
We don't need to hear anything.
My bad, guys. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, this isn't a joke. We didn't get. Hey guys, let's pretend we don't see it.
Oh, I'm so
I'll
sorry.
text
I like-
each other right before this.
I like how Doug wasn't listening because we said it. He was like,
I couldn't hear you over my audio. I just heard you guys kind of talking.
What's up,
over
yeah?
it.
Twitch streamer, look at me! I'm on the Twitches and I'm twitching, and I'm on. It's time for Will Recommends, and I'm on Twitch with you, and we're twitching. We're doing the Twitches. We're Twitch. We twitched. We have successfully twitched. We're twitching. Let's talk about Will Recommends, because I'm very sorry I had to send this video because I'm not on the show tonight. I had things to do, and I very much apologize that. So let's get right into it, though. 2 recommends for today. We're doing it a little different. We're going to do TV shows, television shows for. Well, I mean, nothing's on television anymore. It's all Netflix and Shudder and Hulu and others. So the 2 shows I want to talk about today, the first one is called Channel Zero. It's on Shudder. And what it is essentially, it's kind of like that American Horror Story. Every single season is slightly different than the last, or very different. They're just different storylines. But I want to specifically talk about season 2 of Channel Zero, which is called The No End House. It's really, really, really great story about a group of teens that go into a haunted house, and things just go crazy, and nothing's what it seems, and it gets really, really wacky. But it's really solid the whole season. Honestly, the show itself, every season's pretty decent. 3's a little lackluster to me, but 1, 2, and 4 are just great. 2 just happens to be my favorite. The second one I want to talk about is a brand new show that's on Netflix called Alice in Borderland. Essentially, I guess it was a manga, so Javi will actually watch this one, I bet. It feels very much like the old Battle Royal movie or manga, where it's people are brought into this place that looks just like where they lived. They have to compete in these games, and people stuck somewhere is one of my favorite genres. So it's just really solid show all the way through. You never really know what's going on. Another one of those where it's a little less horror and a little more action and thriller.
That's cool.
But I highly recommend that. So check them out. Season 2 of the first one that I said, Channel Zero, and season just one. There's only one season of Alice in Borderland on Netflix. That's it. Sorry I couldn't make the show. I love you. I miss you. Gotta go back to Twitch streaming. I'm a Twitch streamer. I'm streaming on Twitch. I'm doing the generator. Doing the generators.
That's actually about what it's like whenever we play the game. So, thank you, Will, for doing that. So we got to do our final goodbyes.
Everyone has one of these.
Oh shit!
One of these.
Wasn't me. All right, David, where can they find you on the internet?
On the internet, on Facebook, Stop Motion Nightmares, and then on Instagram at Children of Dave. And then if you're in Dallas, go to Curiosities in Lakewood and Curious Garden by White Rock Lake. You can see my art in person.
Nice. We got to get you over at that Euless place too, or Bedford, or wherever that guy is. He's I'm gonna go talk to him soon, so hopefully he'll be down. But
he's a cool guy, man.
He's got that horror shop up there, so
yep. Horror Freak DFW.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. So yeah, definitely go check out David's stuff, especially like I said, I always say the Instagram. You've got to see the stuff he's putting up there. Thank you again for the stop motions that you do for us, man. We love them. We love putting those out there.
It's fun.
Oh, it's so dude, I can't even imagine how much work that is. So I appreciate it so much.
Well, that's why they're only like 20 seconds long.
No, but they rock, and every single one is awesome. You can check out We Are Podcast Network here on Twitch every Monday at 8 p.m. We are going to be doing Camp Slash Horrorcast. We stream throughout the week. All of us will be on that off and on. We got 4 streamers right now. Austin usually joins us for the Dead by Daylight. You guys are always welcome to join us when we play that too. If you ever want to stream on there, you're more than welcome to do so also.
Fall Guys Season 3 comes out tomorrow. So
what? Oh, it does. Fall Guys Season 3. We got to get everyone a
7
PC,
new levels.
We got to get everyone a PC copy of that because it's not cross-platform. Oh, shit. We'll figure it out. When is it going to be cross-platform? Come on, Fall Guys. But at least I know what we're doing tomorrow. It's 7 levels they're putting out?
Mm-hmm. And I think 2 new finals, so...
We gotta get everyone.
I haven't played in a while, so I've been waiting for Season 3.
I got my Godzilla outfit. That's all I care about.
Hell yeah, dude.
So yeah,
and the Goose outfit.
You can check out We Are Podcast at wearepodcast.podbean.com. I'm releasing podcasts all week long, so definitely go check it out. Support us. You can see the link at the bottom of the screen right now. Other than that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me. I know it was a small crew tonight, but I feel like we had a lot of fun. Mellow cast tonight. So thank you to everyone here, and thank you for watching and listening later on. With that said, we will